Hello Commanders, codename Red-Rupee here with the latest intel on enemy tank maneuvers. If your tank micro in campaign or multiplayer skirmishes has been failing you, I've got the tip that's going to save you tons of Tiberium, leaving your enemy forces decimated while your tank count stacks up. It's a pretty easy trick that doesn't require hundreds of APMs, so don't worry. Did you know that tanks can fire on the move in Command & Conquer? First, I'll show you the trick, then I'll explain why it works and show some example of how truly impactful this simple micro trick is. In order to focus fire at a specific target while on the move in Red Alert, you need to use the Q movement hotkey, which is default on Q, and it's often bound to Shift in other RTS, which is where I have it bound, simply for familiarity. From there, the order of actions is simply click attack on your target with your tanks, then hold the Q movement hotkey and click nearby to keep your tanks in range, but on the move. And then repeat. It's that easy. So here's an example of a battle of tanks microed versus tanks that are not. This is 6 tanks on each side, an even fight, right? Note my mouse movement. Attack, queued click, attack, queued click. My tanks are moving, but their turrets are staying trained on the target and they continue attacking. You actually don't want to issue commands too quickly in this game. Think about a command or 2 per second is really all you need. Spamming move and attack commands in this game will actually stall out your units. It's an older game, so keep that APM chill. This isn't StarCraft. Now the reason this matters so much in Red Alert, you've probably noticed that moving units seem to take less damage. Damage for projectiles in this game is based on location. There's an impact point and splash damage from that point. When a projectile is fired, it's simply fired at the cell location that your tank or whatever the target is. So if your unit is on the move, it can dodge a huge portion of the damage from any projectile shot. That's often why slow-moving projectiles in the game, like V2 rockets or cruiser volleys, will flat out miss their targets, because by the time the projectile lands, the targeted unit is nowhere near the impact point. There's little to no unit tracking in this game, even from most missile attacks. To sum it up, your goal in these tank engagements is to simply keep your tanks in range and firing at their target while trying to stay in motion as often as possible. There are variations within this, obviously. You'll need to mix up your movements and targets to maximize your damage on your opponent and minimize your own. Choosing your targets, keeping your tanks in range so they're all firing on the move, and all that sort of thing is tricky, but it'll come with practice. So keep at it, and I'm sure your tank micro will improve a lot. Some of these other battles are more evenly matched. You can see the difference between that first battle where 5 of my tanks survived a 6-on-6 fight versus these battles that are much more lined up with each other. So if you've been losing your tank battles in multiplayer, this might be the trick your opponent has been using that you might not have figured out yet. So good luck with this. That's it for this briefing, Commanders. Follow and subscribe to this Intel channel for more upcoming broadcasts of more Command & Conquer Remastered information. See you soon.